just speak to the month really that Riley had just practice squad, right? And then all of a sudden he's here and he's decided, and then boom, he's perfect and NFC player of the week. Just
Yep.
the month that he's had.
I thought you were going to ask for the COVID update, but you want the injury report too? They almost didn't let me come in here, but I begged them. No, Riley's been great. I mean, obviously, we've had some challenges at that position. We've gone through some players. We've had a bunch of really good players in here. I would say that, I do give a lot of credit to Brad Holmes, Ray Agnew. I mean, those guys have always had the next best player in here ready, and they really do an incredible job with that. And they're extremely diligent, and every time this situation's popped up, it's really made it feel like, for me, gosh, yeah, we got no problem. We got a great option. They're all over it. So that's been great. And then, obviously, speaking really with Riley, I mean, the day he got here, he came in and just fit right in, did a great job. He works hard. He fits in well with the other guys, which is important. Those three guys spend a lot of time, or four for us. Those four guys spend a lot of time together. He's been really flexible. He does a good job communicating really what he needs done and what's important to him, and helps set the stage for that. And then obviously he's played really well for us in games. I think I would say that, a part of his success is also the snap and the hold. And I think, I was critical with Fox as a holder and thought that he could improve in that area. And I think he's really come a long ways, which is a credit to him. There's some guys, punters, they're worried about punting the ball. And a lot of what they're graded on publicly is how well they punt. And I think holding goes a little bit unnoticed. I think some of the low numbers on field goals is probably due to a lot of new punters are punting in this league, and there's a lot of young punters, and those guys don't come in as the best holders. And he's taken a lot of time and energy to make himself a great player, which is really unselfish by him. He spends a lot of time on the jugs machine in here, and so just does a lot of things that go unnoticed, but he's done a great job. And then obviously the protection on the unit. But certainly Riley deserves a lot of credit. Obviously, at the end of the day, he's the one kicking the kick.
Just wanted to ask you one about Atlanta too. Cordarrelle obviously is much more part of what they do offensively, but still does some kick return stuff. I know Avery is doing that too, but just what you see in him, is he still just as explosive? When he gets his hand on the ball in that aspect?
Yeah, I mean, Cordarrelle Patterson, I would say he's, certainly the best guy playing right now. I know he's not been back there quite as much, but we have a healthy amount of respect for him, that's for sure. He's a great player. I mean, he's a great player.
I don't imagine you studied Patterson's, what he's doing on offense. It sounds like you're aware of it. Did you see that in him? His various times when he's so good returning, he just never.
Yeah, I think, I don't really know the challenges on the offensive side of the ball for him personally and all that, but I do know that obviously it sounds like at certain points in his career it's been hard for people to kind of figure out what he does best. I think New England kind of started to play him a little bit more running back, and they maybe got into some things and did a good job with him, got more production out of him. I feel like the longer he's played, the more people have figured out those things that he does really well. And it sounds like they must be doing a great job of getting the ball in the right situations and how he makes the right plays. Now, that being said, when you sit in my shoes, the whole time you knew the guy's incredible. He's just a great player. He's strong, he's physical, he's fast, he's got great vision. He does a great job of setting blocks. He sees the backside cutback. He threatens the front side of the return and the backside. He's a complete player. And definitely tough to defend.
Might be connecting some dots here, but you said Jack's improved immensely as a holder, and you also mentioned last week some of the previous struggles that might have not been totally on him. So just last year was Jack's first as a holder, and in a second, can you just explain some of the nuances of how he's improved there? What is actually better?
Yeah, there's a lot to it. The first thing you got to do is catch the ball, which, takes good hands and all that. And the faster and easier and smoother you catch the ball, the quicker you can move on to placing the ball down. So you got the catch, so that's the first part of it, and your comfort level with that. And then you transition from the catch to getting it down on the spot. And when you talk about getting it down on the spot, I mean, you're literally talking about getting it down on a point. And it can't be 3 inches forward or 3 inches back or to the left or right. And all this is happening really fast, obviously. And then once you get the ball down on the spot, you got to make sure the laces are proper, and then the angle of the ball and how far the ball is, the wind, the kicker that you're working with, left and right, how much you're angling it. And the faster you can get the ball down and the longer the ball is down on the ground, and the faster it's down on the ground, the longer it's there, the more time, in essence, the kicker has to see the ball in its spot on the ground, where it's going to be and where he's got to hit it. And I would just say, to make it simple, the more time the kicker has to see the ball on the spot that it's going to be at, and it's stationary and still for him, the better his chance of making the kick are. So that takes into account the snap. The better the snap is, the quicker the holder can get it down. The better the holder is at getting a good snap down, the better he is at getting a bad snap down. The longer the kicker has to see the ball and still be able to operate at an acceptable time, right? He's got to get that done in 1.3 seconds, the kicker, from snap to kick, or somewhere right in there. And so anyways, the faster that whole operation is in front of the kicker, the better his odds of making the kick.
So we haven't seen him be able to low snap and a high snap in the last couple weeks and get him down just as efficiently. And that's the evolution of that position, right? Is just being able to field it regardless of how it comes to you.
Yeah, I would say you'd love it to be perfect. And what I say to these guys all the time is, like, I mean, anybody can play a perfect play, and kickers in college can do that, and high school can do that. But when you're in the National Football League, when something's a little off and a little astray, you got to still be able to execute and get the job done. And that really, to me, is what separates the guys who are really good players and the guys who, you know, they're only as good as the guys around them. You know, you're looking for the guys who can make everybody better. If it's a bad snap, it doesn't faze them. If it's a bad hold, it doesn't faze them. You know, whatever. But yeah.
So how did Jack maybe make the improvements that you're talking about? And just piling up a massive amount of reps, change technique? Like,
Yeah.
how does that happen?
Yeah, I would say that there's that book, I think a book, I'm not a big reader, but like 10,000 hour rule or whatever that is. I mean, I would say at the end of the day, there's a lot of validity to that. I mean, just repetition, hours, practice, you know, the more snaps you hold, handle. And another challenge is, I think when you get to this level, the standard is just a lot higher. So a lot of these guys have done it for years, but the standard that they were doing it to was just a lower standard, and it wasn't a big deal. It was acceptable. So if that's okay, then that's good, and they don't really think much about it. Well, now all of a sudden you come here and it's a little bit more specific, and it's like, okay, wait a minute, it's like doing a different job now, and you're starting over, you know. So I would say not only doing it, but how you're doing it is a big part of it too.
Specifically,
Couple more guys.
where does he made the biggest stride? Is it getting right to that spot? Is it the speed? Is it the...
Yeah, I'd say
What's the...
just all the above, you know, and that way it's just down there faster, and it's more right more often, faster, you know. Yeah.
All good? Thanks, Coach.
Okay, man, I appreciate it. I will say this, so I know obviously I joke about this room all the time. It's cold and it's no fun. And I do know that this organization appreciates you guys putting up with that. And then it's obviously coming close to the holiday time of year. There's a handful of guys in here who ask me a lot of questions, not saying. But that's all good. So anyway, I thought I would get you guys something, or a few of you. I can't take care of everybody, but I would get a few of you something. We got Rick Goslin's friend over here too, so I'm obviously partial to you for that. You would think it was one guy wrote a story, one guy, you know, whatever, but it's not that. It's really just you guys ask the most questions. So I have something for you. I have something for you. And thank you for the card, by the way. It's not why I'm giving you credit. Yeah. I got something for you out there. Got to take care of the in-house guys. Thank you. You guys can open it all together, and hopefully it helps take care of all you. But I appreciate you guys. You guys have a good one. Yeah.